Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Aaron here with Iron Therapy Training, and I have Jason here with Massage at Eades. And today, guys, is a really big topic. You guys are all going to be excited for this. We know a lot of people struggle here, but it's how to get through the holidays without gaining weight or sabotaging your goals.
That's right.
So today, our coffee talk is brought to you by Avast Ye Java here with Charles Fitz and his coffee truck. We're enjoying a cup of his coffee this morning while we go over this talk about how not to gain weight through the holidays. So Jason, I'll have you kind of kick it off here a little bit, but what are a couple things that you've kind of thought of on ways not to gain weight through the holidays?
Well, first of all, you want to relax a little bit.
Yeah.
Because what you don't want to do is hide in your house and ignore all the invites and stay away from your family and self-isolate and you know that'll get you through without gaining any weight, but that's kind of a miserable holiday. So that's not what we're talking about doing here. But with a few tweaks, it's not as hard as a lot of people think. You have to plan, prioritize, and then pursue.
That's really good. That's really good there.
Like
yeah.
that?
Planning ahead is the number one thing you need to do is plan ahead. And, always before a holiday or an event, it's really, really smart for you to make sure that you eat before you go to the event.
Eat the food you should before you go to the event. That way you won't eat as much of the extras.
Yeah. So what happens in life, and people do this all the time, they don't eat throughout the day and then they kind of binge eat later on. So if a lot of people get this misconception that I'm not going to eat all day, I'm going to eat at the event. I'm going to eat at this Christmas party. And then when that time comes, golly, man, they totally overdo it on the calories. They eat a lot of high calorie food, a lot of sugar, and they just really overdo it quickly. And believe it or not, you will overeat those calories not even knowing. It just happens that quick. So make sure to eat where you're not just starving before the event.
And don't change anything, especially if you're in a meal plan. So like this morning, I have a church dinner for my dad's side of the family for Thanksgiving. I'm going to eat my normal breakfast. Like I'm not going to eat light. I'm not going to eat heavy. I'm going to eat what I normally eat so my body stays in its normal level of my normal levels. So I'm not hungry when I go in. My body's still thinking it's a normal day, and I'm able to maintain my emotional self better that way.
Yes, that's a very good point there. I agree with that for sure. Yeah, always stick to what you're doing and eating those meals regularly. And then when you do have your event where you can enjoy a few other things at the event and, not feel guilty about it. Because a lot of times, people are trying to lose weight and do these things and they feel guilty. So plan it. Plan for yourself to have some of these
and also
foods.
This isn't my first Thanksgiving. It's very few people's first Christmases, right? So you kind of know what food's going to be there. And that's another part of the plan. It's Thanksgiving. There's going to be turkey. There's going to be pumpkin pie. There's going to be all of these things. And so if I know, okay, what do I prioritize? What do I actually enjoy eating? Okay? And that way you can go to the dessert table, the danger zone, right? You can go to the dessert table and I want to eat the pumpkin pie like I do every year, and it's a traditional sense. And then you look for the pumpkin pie, and that's all you grab off of that. And you're not tempted by the cinnamon rolls or the Oreo pudding pie, so you have that in your head before you ever go to the event. You know where your cheat is coming from, and you'll be more likely to stick to that and not hit every dessert on the table.
That's good. And I'm going to get into a little bit of that too. So here's some tips you can do when you go to these events or Christmas parties or Thanksgivings. Volunteer to bring your own tray. Volunteer to bring your own tray. You could bring For example, a fruit and veggie tray, something
We do
that
those
you
all the
can
time.
kind of snack on while you're there and not just have to indulge in all the other stuff. Remember, during the holidays, enjoy some of those other foods, but it's not a feast, okay? So you can enjoy some of these other foods, but we don't need to overdo it and just eat as much as possible during that time, right? It just, we'll totally overdo it, and that's where that guilt and that feeling is going to come in if you feast.
Well, and there's a cycle of guilt that can happen there, and one slip to an individual who's trying to make healthy choices can lead to a pattern of emotional behavior that turns into you're binging the entire holiday. And that's where a lot of big stumbling blocks occur. So it's very smart to plan, to prepare, have food that you're bringing, know what's going to be available, have a backup, bring a veggie tray, and veggie trays are great. The main reason is a lot of these events have hors d'oeuvres. They have the little oatmeal scotchies and the little sandies and the little pretzels and the cheese balls and all that. So if you're able to bring broccoli and celery and carrots and all of that stuff, that gives you something to do with the homemade dip. That gives you options that aren't just stuffing down potato chips mindlessly while you're talking. There's a mindset switch here too that works really well for the holidays, and that is it's to remember when you go to these events that food is great, but what you're really there for is the people.
Yeah, exactly. So everything's made about, the food these days. Everything's are surrounded by food. So just remember, I'm going to kind of change the topic here a little bit on that, but just remember, it's okay, guys, to say no. How we're getting into this food that he was just talking about, and everything's about the food. It's okay to say no and set boundaries for yourself. There is a really big problem with peer pressure in food, especially in the holidays, okay? Where people try to push this food on you and give you all these cookies and the holiday treats that people are making. And then they'll come up and tell you, well, I worked so hard for you to enjoy this. You're not going to eat it. And they try to put that blame on you. It's okay to say no for yourself, okay? You have the ability to say yes to what you want, and you don't have to do what other people are wanting you to do just because they did it.
Right. There's an old Vine. I don't know if you remember Vines or not. They're funny things. And young man makes hot Kool-Aid, and he's trying to give it to his buddy, and his buddy's like, I don't want this. And the guy's like, but I made this for you.
Yeah.
He's like, it's hot Kool-Aid. I don't want this. And it's a big comical thing, but that's kind of, you don't have to. You don't have to validate somebody else's emotions as it relates to food, because in all honesty, that's not healthy for anybody.
No, absolutely. No, it's definitely not healthy for the person who has a goal and they're trying to work on themselves and they let somebody walk all over them. That's basically because you don't have enough guts to tell them, like, hey, no, I'm not doing this. I apologize. I just, I'm working on myself right now, and I have a weight loss goal or whatever I'm working on. So I'm not going to indulge in this extra stuff.
Right. Well, and there's a way to do it, of course. There's tact and everything like that. If you have a stroke, one of the cool things about Aaron's program is he'll actually spitball that with you. He'll actually be like, okay, look, you're struggling when you go to this person's house or something like that. Like, let's run that conversation. What does that sound like? How can you politely say, I really can't do that right now, or I'm choosing to watch things, or, a way that you can do it that you're comfortable with. And, if you have a friend or a spouse or something like that, that's just another option. If you're really worried, because family, in-laws, social calendars, this season can also, can be the happiest. It could also be one of the highest stress holidays out there. And so if you, again, plan and prepare, you know who you're going to be there, you know who you're going to talk to. If you always have a hard time turning down Aunt Ruth, then maybe pre-play that conversation. Aunt Ruth, I'm more interested in how you're doing. How's your health? If you make it about giving attention to the person, because that's what they're really wanting, if you make it about giving attention to the person who baked the thing, then you're giving them the emotional validation that they're seeking, and you're still sticking to your goals. And again, it becomes about the people, not the food.
Yeah. In the end, guys, it's all about love in the end, and gathering around your friends and family for the holidays. So
Being thankful.
don't make it all about the food. That's what people make everything about, is about the food. Another thing I was going to tell you and kind of bring up, another tip to do is hit the gym a little harder before going to the event or going to the Thanksgiving or Christmas, okay?
Or after.
Well, that's okay to do, but I'm gonna actually get into that a little bit. So it's better to hit the gym before a little bit harder, because usually after never comes.
True.
So what you don't want to do is you don't want to eat something and say, I'll burn this off later. That's the worst thing you can do, especially like during the holidays, okay? Because later doesn't ever come. So you do want to try to hit the gym a little bit harder before, have that done, and then control yourself a little bit more in the evening, planning ahead, like we said. After is, I mean, you can play that game, but if you're tired and you had a long day and
and your stomach's full and you've been
after's
talking
not
to
gonna-
everybody all
after's not
day.
gonna come. So the worst thing you could do, and this doesn't even just matter on holidays, do not eat something and say, I will burn it off later, because later never comes.
Well, and it becomes a negative mindset. It becomes a rationale for further excuses. Because if you can do that one time, then you can do it every time. And then, all I have to do is just work really, really hard and I can eat what I want.
Yeah.
And that's just a recipe for disaster.
That
does not work.
That's a horrible mindset too.
Yeah.
Another thing, guys, during the holidays, remember, how long are the holidays? Thanksgiving's one day.
One day.
It's one day. And when we have all this leftover food and stuff, I know everybody's excited. We have fridges full of stuff. You still need to be cautious and mindful of what you're doing, and not, Thanksgiving's one day. We don't need to eat like that for the whole, 3 months or 2 months of the holidays. And that's what a lot of people do,
So,
well, I'll just get started after I'll burn this off.
Right. And that happens all the time. I'll just start in the new year. So I'll just enjoy this holiday and start of the new year. And you know what, guys? Start today. I mean, the best time to plant a tree is 30 years ago. The second best time is right now. That's the prioritize I was talking about. Prioritize. What are the social events you actually want to go to and enjoy? I want to have a day with my dad in an environment where he can relax. That's why I'm going to the big potluck today, this Sunday, for my dad. This Thursday is actual Thanksgiving Day. We're having a traditional thing for my wife's side of the family. I want to go to that. What I don't want to do is, it's the holiday season and I work out of a beauty salon, and people bring cookies and pie and cake, and it's going to be there. I know it's going to be there. I would rather eat more at the events where my loved ones and family are than piece out of the stale box of donuts 4 days after it's been brought in. Prioritize. Prioritize the events that mean the most to you, so you get the most value out of your cheating moments or your binge moments.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's really good there. Now with the cheating moments and things that you were talking about, I've been learning a lot about this, and I've been educating a lot more people, but I'm really trying to get away from the word cheat meal or cheat time, because that's kind of categorizing into, like,
it's kind of a negative mindset.
Yeah. So when you get into that trap there, it's still, you're not having a healthy relationship with food is what it's getting to.
If you're cheating, you're doing something bad. If you're doing something bad, you're going to have that whole cycle of guilt and sadness and regret, and then that feeds into that I give up, cycle of self-destruction. That's a very valid point.
Yeah. So just remember, like having these other foods, it still can be seen in a healthy diet. Okay.
You're choosing what to eat. I choose to eat this. That's choosing what you're eating. Having a meal plan, choosing what you're eating is empowering. I choose what I'm consuming. That's empowering. I'm going to cheat means I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing, and that takes your power away from you.
Yeah.
Okay. And I need all the power I can get. So I don't know about you.
Yeah. So those other foods, they're seen in healthy diets all the time. Okay. So don't feel like, oh, I can't have. Plan the times when you can have these things, when you can eat them, where it doesn't become throughout the day, multiple times a day, and just eating junk all day long. Okay, that's where the problem is. So, the holiday thing that we were talking about, how people get in that mindset of I'll start after the new year, that goes all the way back to what I just said. Don't eat something and say I'll burn it off later. Okay, people do that during the holiday season, and they have this fictitious belief in their mind that they created. And they're saying, hey, it's the holidays, I'm going to have trouble. I'll just start at the new year because that's my New Year's resolution. I already have that in my mind because I tried to do it last year.
Right.
I tried to do the same thing last year, but look where I am today. So you got to make sure that you're taking care of these holidays now, like Jason said, and just start planning ahead now so you can start making progress today.
Right. Pursue. You still have the same goal, and there's no reason to wait until next year. Because how old are you, Aaron?
39.
39. I'm 52. I'm still pursuing a goal I made when I was 30. Okay. Now I could use that to eat my lunch and be depressed and sad about it, or I could use that to say, you know what? I'm closer than I've ever been. So why back off now? You can only go forward.
Exactly. That's what we want to do. We just want to move the ball forward. So like if you do have trouble during the holidays, let's say you did overindulge a little bit and you didn't want to, okay? Do not beat yourself up and blame yourself and do all these things, okay? Stop yourself right there in that moment. The next day, reflect on what happened and then learn from it. Why did I do that? What happened? How can I do better tomorrow? Okay? So reflect on it. Don't go back there and sit in that mindset. It's just going to bring you down and you're going to get in this cycle. Okay? So if you do have trouble over the holiday, reflect on it. How can I do better? What am I doing better tomorrow? Tomorrow's a new day. How can I do better going forward? Just like he said, we're going forward.
Right. Little tweaks. Okay, so I had this social event and I really clobbered the dessert table. Okay, great. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Did you have fun? Good. I'm glad you had fun. Now, tomorrow, what are you going to do? Well, I can pare down the normal rice portion by a little bit. We'll put the curve down a little bit on the days in between. We'll work out a little harder. And I love that because bodybuilding is our sport, kind of, basically. And so when you're in a calorie extra, that's a great time to go a little heavier on some of your lifts and encourage your body to use the extra calories to develop muscles. Okay, so there's a positive way to approach those extras. Now, don't let it turn into an excuse, because how many times I'm just going to bulk this holiday. Yeah, don't do that. Sorry, I'm total aside here. But find a positive spin, do something with it, do better next time. Positive spin, do something with it, do better next time. Repeat.
Yeah, so like he was saying, during the holidays, if you are bulking, I don't like that word either. That's just because of the reason and the fact that it psychologically messes with people and they think they can just go out and eat whatever the hell they want all the time because they're bulking. I'm bulking. It doesn't matter. I'm bulking. And then they actually gain too much body fat and they don't, like what's going on. So
Or they
Just
wreck
like-
their metabolism, or they wreck their blood sugar, and they wreck there's all kinds of health-related issues.
Yeah.
You literally have nothing to do with weight that screw up your ability to progress in your health.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So during the holidays, like he was saying, when you're in that bulking term, you do still want to stick to your plan as much as possible. And it goes all the way back to the beginning of this talk.
Plan.
And then replace one of those meals or two of those meals with your dinner that you're eating. And then you're still not going way over your calories, okay? Don't let the eating last longer than an hour, okay? That's always a rule of thumb. Do not let the eating last longer than an hour. And
Prioritize.
when I say that, that means you're eating something in an hour's time, and that's it. That doesn't mean, an hour and a half later, you go back and get a piece of pumpkin pie. And then 15 minutes later, you're eating some chips and dip. And then 25 minutes later, you're having deviled eggs. That's what I mean by do not let the eating last longer than an hour. So eat, be done with it, move on, enjoy the enjoying the conversations with the family and friends, and get on with the evening.
Now, I do want to mention, before we're done, I do want to mention some small, very specific tweaks you can do at any of these meals that's helpful. One, and you've even mentioned this in some of your videos that you put out, eat the protein first. So especially if there's turkey, macros wise, there's no difference between that turkey breast and the chicken breast I eat anyway. So if I can go up to the line, first thing there's turkey, right? Load up, just commit. So if you take X amount of turkey, make yourself a rule. You have to eat all of that before you move on to the next tray. The next thing you want to put on your plate are the veggies. And I don't really mean the carrots and the sweet potatoes so much as I mean your peppers, your green, your yellow, your orange peppers, your cruciferous vegetables, so your broccoli and your cauliflower, and anything green. Your if there's a spinach, if there's a lettuce salad, if there's any of that there, if you load up on the protein and the veggies, you're not going to have the room or the capacity for a lot of the stuff that can throw you. So that's just a very specific thing, just a real specific survival guide. You can use that for just about any church potluck, social gathering, anything where food is expected. You follow those two rules, you may not stop the damage, I don't like to use that term either, but you will decrease the potential for setbacks. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, I think that's about all we have here today on this talk. Of course, we can go into this further and further. We
There's
can be
a lot
here all
there.
day. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for joining us on this talk today. Remember, this is Aaron here with Iron Therapy Training, and I have Jason here.
with Massage Eades.
Massage at Eades. And today's coffee, remember, was brought to you by Avast Ye Java. With Charles Fitz and his coffee truck, and they have Grindhead coffee here in town. They have teas, chais, energizers, all kinds of stuff. So
The best espresso beans in town, period.
yep. So if you guys are looking for a great cup of coffee here in town, go find Charles and his coffee truck. He does events and everything. We'll see you guys soon.